Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of JoCo Vibes here on JoCo Community Radio. I'm Tiffany Carlen. Nona Reed will be joining us shortly, and I've got a special guest who's becoming more of a regular now, Jimmy Stanford.
Good
Thank
morning.
you for joining me. I'm detaching your mic. Sorry about that.
Well, good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. It's a beautiful day. I mean, I'm not happy that we're going to have, nearly 100-degree weather again. It's September, God. Can we be done with this now? Like, are we done yet?
Seasons are a little messed up right now.
Setting us all on fire here. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, it's a beautiful day out. So, and it's Talk About It Tuesday here on JoCo Vibes, and we got a lot to talk about. What do you got some stuff to talk about, right? But I'm going to start off with our word of the week. So let me get down into my handy dandy Focus book. If you're tuning in for the first time, this is a book called Focus. It's how one word a week will transform your life. And so we dig in every week and share. This is by Clear Cherry Reeves. And I got this book from Mary Martha. If you're not familiar with them, it's a Christian. It's a Christian company. Yeah, it's a faith-based company. And so everything that they do has words of faith on them, whether it's the books, pillows, or stuff for your home. And so I'm so grateful because I got introduced to this line from Sarah Nicole Tynan, and we're going to talk a little bit about Sarah too here after we do our word of the week. So I never pre-read it. I like to be surprised when I come on air and talk about it so that it impacts me just as much as it's hopefully impacting other people who are listening. So the word for the week is beauty. All that is in the world, the desires of the flesh and the desires of the eyes and pride of life, is not from the Father, but is from the world. And that's 1 John 2:16. The focus tip for the word of the week is, as you go about your week, ask God to open your eyes to what he sees as beautiful. Remember to thank him for all the beautiful things he reveals to you. Oh, I like that.
That is true.
We're visual people. We're humans.
Yes.
Right. But it's not about that. It's about seeing what's inside of somebody. Like if you're looking at something like that, I think that kind of helps to flow out. People easily get distracted by what is beautiful visually.
Even in the garden in the beginning, you remember how the fruit was beautiful.
Right.
It was enticing, but what was inside was not.
No, not at all.
So we have to look past the beauty that the world shows us.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, you could be. I think that's the kind of like sometimes when people get really confused too, when they look at someone and they go, "Oh, they're so beautiful," like on the outside, but then you talk to them and you find out that they're really ugly.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Or by the same token, how many times do we discount something because we think that's ugly or that person doesn't look attractive or whatever, when in reality they're really a special person or it's a special something that you really need to.
That's a great point. It's not your usual or typical, like, oh, this is a typical person that I would hang out with, or this is an atypical person, and then you realize, no, we're aligned.
Yeah,
we're totally aligned with each other. That's another really great way of talking about it. So speaking of beautiful things, there is a fantastic event that's coming up, and it's the Rise Mental Health Conference. The mission behind this conference is to equip people with the tools to become their healthiest selves. It's October 8th, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Pathway Church, 325 Northwest Renfro Street. If you're familiar with where we are located, you can't miss Pathway Church. It's the big church right behind us. You can see it from Renfro, and you can see it from Wilshire as well. To sign up, you can scan this QR code, and we'll post it on. It's actually already posted on the JoCo Community Radio Facebook page, or you can go to a link that we will share. It's for me to put this, to tell you this. Well, I could tell you the link if you want to listen back to the replay and write it down. If you're just listening on the radio, I'm going to give it to you as slow as I can. HTTPS. Colon forward / forms the number 8 FOTC 9 I as in igloo 8 R as in Richard, E as in Eric, G as in God, G as in God, 1 D as in dog, J as in jump, G as in God. So if you would like that link and you're listening on the radio and you did not get to write it all down, or you can listen to the replay on Spreaker.com, or you can rewatch this, or you can rewatch on Facebook. There's tons of different ways that you can re-listen to the show. You can email me. Forgot what I was going to say. That's why I was like, what am I doing? You can email me at jo.co at jococommunityradio.com, and I will send this link to you. And you can also search for this event on Facebook. Rise does have a Facebook event if you're on Facebook. And if not, like I said, just reach out and I can send you all the information. But there's 5 main session speakers. I'm going to sneeze. It's coming. Dr. Collier, she's the author of Neuro Whereabouts Guide. She's absolutely amazing. She's been on the Reach Council, the Reach Across Johnson County show, and I've talked with her multiple times. And the book is amazing. I have the book. She's spectacular. And anybody with children wants to hear Dr. Collier talk because she really explains to you what's happening in the brain during the different stages of our children's lives. So from the early stages, adolescence, teens, what's happening in the brain, and so that you can fully understand if they're on drugs or they start to take drugs, what it's doing to their brains. And that includes smoking pot, because some people will go, it's just pot. Well, your child's brain is developing and is not fully developed again. The frontal lobe is not fully developed again until they're 25 years old. So there's tons of things that set that back. And Dr. Collier is great about explaining all of it in the book. Rachel Henning, she's a licensed professional counselor. Dr. Tina Bernard, she's a professional educator and author. She's also been on the Reach Show. Chad Benson, pastor at Lifegate Church. And Lisa Boltinghouse, she's the CEO for the Center for ASD. She's a fabulous woman. We've had her out. There's going to be breakout sessions. You can choose between art therapy, brain-based skills, Enneagram, or self-love cycle. And then there's build your own toolkits and other just really cool stuff. And it's free.
That's wonderful. They're putting that on.
It's a free mental health conference. So this is not in conjunction with or a part of Pathway Church in any way. This is completely an outside partnership between Sarah Nicole Tynan, who's came up with this entire idea because of her own mental health struggles. So appreciate her. And she partnered with the Reach Coalition for Johnson County to bring this to light and bring some great people to help. So again, it's the Rise Mental Health Conference, October 8th, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Pathway Church. Reach out to me at jo.co at jococommunityradio.com with any questions that you have about how to sign up. So again, it's free, but signing up helps them, figure out seating and all that kind of stuff. So super excited. We're going to go to commercial break here in just a couple of minutes. So, man, yesterday's city council meeting was a quick one here in Burleson.
We're getting quicker.
Yeah, you're getting quicker. It was a very interesting one. So I don't know how deep I want to dive into it with just these 2 minutes, but what would you like to share with people in a positive way before we go to the break?
Well, I'm really excited about this. I think with the economy, with a lot of the struggles, people are suffering, and there's some people that may have some issues that they need to get addressed. And this is really a neat program, this Rise, and there's a lot of help out there. So I mean, and we have to make sure that we're looking out for each other.
You did mention something during the city council meeting last night that I want to bring up and also applaud one of our neighboring, although
Yes.
Tarrant County, we want to applaud our neighboring police in Everman and in Tarrant County for seeing the warning signs, seeing the red flags, like you said, and not ignoring it. They were on top of it and they were able to stop that vehicle as it approached and actually pulled into the parking lot, they caught them right at the entrance, right? And
Yes.
stopped them. And they had an automatic weapon with them with 60 rounds.
60 rounds, yes.
So has there been some follow-up with that yet to see what the intention or what the what was going on with this person?
I saw a post, I think it was yesterday or maybe early this morning, that said they had filed several felony charges on them for what they were intending to do.
Okay. So I know that they detained 3 people.
They detained 3 and arrested 2. I guess the third may have been just there and didn't realize what they were getting sucked into or about to get sucked into.
Something good's not going to happen. I'm not any part of this. I'm just stuck in the car.
Yeah.
Right. So I just want to say that know your friends.
Yes.
Choose your friends wisely. Right. So we'll touch more on that when we come back from this quick break here on JoCo Community Radio. We'll be right back.
Abnormal realities.
I love my mom.
Yep. She sent me a message.
My mom did?
Yeah, Wednesday night. And she invited me over tomorrow night to watch Titanic and share a bowl of popcorn. And I accepted.
You did?
Yep.
That'd be fun.
And she calls it Chaps Only Night. Every Saturday night.
Look.
Miss Dixie,
look,
how you doing? He said, it's my mom, bro. All right, it's my mom.
I want to hear the answer to the Titanic and popcorn. Go ahead, Mom. What's up?
Oh!
Hi, boys. I just wanted to ask Rocky if he wanted butter on that popcorn or not.
I would rather have the butter somewhere else, but if popcorn's the only place I can have it, I'll take it.
Jeez,
hey,
dude.
Nobody says I can't roll around in it for a little bit.
All right, Mom.
That is
love
my girl.
You.
I love you,
Mom.
Dixie.
Abnormal realities.
My mom, love you.
Dixie.
I love you too.
With Ron and Rocky. Weekdays, 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. on JoCo Community Radio.
Holy crap.
Hey, there's something you forgot to do. It sure is hot. Are you sweating like a dog? Wait, what? Dogs don't sweat. Oh no, you forgot to get your window tinted. Whether it's the kitchen window that sits in the sun for the hottest part of the day, or you just got new wheels, call Sharp Window Tinting in Burleson. 817-615-9379, or look them up on the web, sharpwindowtint.com.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395.
Welcome back to the second half of JoCo Vibes. JoCo Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 24/7 on the TuneIn Radio Network. TuneInJoCo.com is the place to find all the ways to listen and watch, and the station app is also available for free on Android and Apple devices. Simply search your store. Check out our lineup and more at JoCoCommunityRadio.com. This episode and more brought to you by Patriot Claims, making your insurance work for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep at 844-TEX-HAIL. That's 844-839-4245. Get her in your corner before the next storm hits and let someone help you advocate with your own insurance company to get paid a full amount of your claim, because they don't like to pay them. And be sure to dress your arms and more at the Tiffy.com. That's THETIFFIE.com. Learn about the amazing seasonal, multi-seasonal accessories that they sell and make, and they're made right here in the United States. I was trying not to so I stalled a little bit because I hate umming. So welcome back. It's Talk About It Tuesday here on JoCo Vibes on Tiffany, Carlen. Nona Reed, I think she may make it in. I'm not sure. She's dealing with four dogs are getting neutered and spayed this morning.
Oh boy.
So she was juggling. But Jimmy Stanford's joining me today in her place. And while he's kind of becoming more of a regular here, and I appreciate that because I enjoy having you on. I enjoy having authentic, real conversations with people about what's really going on in our communities. And that's so incredibly important. We have to keep it real. And so before we went to the break, we were talking about the Rise Mental Health Conference. It's on October 8th from 9 to 3 at Pathway Church. It's a free event. If you're having some mental health challenges, if you're just recognizing them, or you don't know how to recognize them, or you don't know how to recognize them in other people, you don't have to be someone who's suffering from this. If you're looking to just become educated on it so that you can help someone else, or to better recognize what someone else is going through, family members, friends, just people in the community, go to this event.
Well, not only that, maybe you've got a friend or something that you're starting to recognize some stuff, and then maybe they don't. Just find some way to get them in there with you. Tell them, say, hey, I want to go check this out for myself and see if they'll come with you, and maybe they'll pick up on something.
I've been through some stuff in the past couple of years, as you know, and it really does take the help of other people to, one, help you recognize that you are going through something, or that you do need a guiding hand, and to know that it's okay that you have a problem. You've got stuff going on. It's totally okay. It doesn't mean you're abnormal or messed up. You'd be a very rare person if you've never had a mental health challenge, to be honest. I mean, really rare person. Even a lot of your psychiatrists and psychologists came from a period in time where they had their own mental health challenges and decided to go into that field because they learned how to cope with their own and through their own situation and survive their own situations, that they decided, I'm pretty good at this. I think I can go help others.
Well, and that's something that hopefully, I don't know when, but hopefully at some point we get rid of the stigma. There's doctor's offices everywhere, and people understand, you know what, I get sick, I go to the doctor's office, and people don't look down on you because you go to the doctor's office. But yet somebody that deals with a tragedy in their life or something like that, there's a stigma that's out there. And it shouldn't be.
Mental health is not, it's not just about long-term diagnoses. It's can also be very situational. I went through situational depression and anxiety after my daughter almost died a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So rightfully understandable. I went through depression, anxiety, and massive grief when my mom died 7.5 years ago. And there's still periods that comes and go. You can't control grief. It'll just show up. And even with, even though my daughter didn't die, I still have moments of grief from the experiences that we went through in July of 2021.
Yeah,
and
traumatic stress.
And I say July of 2021, I'm going, yeah, I definitely have some PTSD. There's no doubt about it. And that didn't stop. What we went through and the challenges that we went through weren't just in that moment, or that 3 weeks of her, being in the hospital and 8 days on a vent. It continues on. It's not done.
No,
it's not over. So, it's, but I got help. And I have to say, I have such a great support system of friends and family who helped me talk through it. And then, of course, I did seek some outside services to help me too. So, and getting the help, having someone, a professional who can help you understand what you're going through and that it's okay, and to also help give you coping mechanisms, communication, alternatives, and ways to work through the stress of what you're going through while you're still living your life, taking care of your other children, your marriage, yourself. That would be number one, right? So even when you look at a free health conference like this, it's okay to go put yourself first and take care of yourself, because if you are not taking care of yourself, you cannot take care of other people.
What do they tell you to do on an airplane if the oxygen mask drop?
Right. Cover yours first.
Yeah.
And they're really adamant. I've flown multiple times in the past couple months, and I used to travel 85% of the time, and it's the same message. And I've seen some TED Talks where they've used that same thing. You have to feed yourself first. You have to. If you're
Yes.
too weak, I'm looking at my neighbor who's struggling right now with her adult daughter, very adult daughter, and a very long addiction on pills and other drugs and anything and everything she could possibly get her hands on. And she can't even. I mean, she hasn't slept in 48 hours now. She's, which is why I was delayed this morning because I was helping her. And she's down to like 78 pounds.
Oh no.
She's already a tiny little thing. So, but that's probably where I will be, is helping my neighbor the rest of the day, get through her daughter's mental health crisis, which is causing a mental health crisis with the mom. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't want to just kick your child, whether they're an adult or not, out of the home and know that if she did, she may never see her again. Because of the level of what this is at. So there's so many things to that. So just ask for unspoken prayers for this family, and that we're able to get her where we need to get her today to get on the journey. So it's so challenging. One of the things that she said too is that she could have gotten her into JPS yesterday, had her there. There was like a 4-hour wait, but then there was no beds. And there was no beds. She said she watched ambulance after ambulance come in, filling up beds. And we were talking, and then one of them was an 11-year-old who was addicted. 11 years old. 11 years old. Now, do we know the backstory of that 11-year-old? No, we don't. But is it stuff like this part of the reason why that we have continued conversations about what's going on in our community, what's going on in our schools, holding our school districts accountable to what's happening in the classroom, what's happening in the hallways and the bathrooms that they can't see because we don't have the proper security in our schools. I know we'll talk specifically to BISD. They've stepped up and they're hiring more. The problem is that the drug problem is in our high schools, and you only have one SRO at each high school, and they can't handle it.
No,
and that's not criticizing them as an SRO. They literally cannot handle that many people themselves.
No, and I don't know that there's even a way of law enforcement can get involved without the community. Going back to the airmen, and even going back to what you were mentioning earlier, we have to have a good support group, friends that trust and love us enough to be able to reach out. Go into the drug problem. If your friends are over there dealing drugs, if you love them enough, you'll call the police on them. I know that maybe some people may say, well, gee, that's narking somebody out. But no, if you love your friend enough that's dealing drugs, that's involved in that environment, if I truly love them, you'll turn them in, because that's the only way they're going to get help. And we have to stop turning a blind eye. I'm so thankful that at Airmen, they didn't turn a blind eye, that whoever that was, whatever that situation was, I'm sure it was probably a friend of these two. And yes, they turned them in, and yes, they're going to face some felony charges, but what would the outcome have been? All the individual lives lost, those two individuals that were arrested. I mean, what would their lives have been like? Had they survived this, they would have at least, who knows, maybe spent their life in prison waiting on a death penalty, or been injured, killed. Their families would have, just the tragedy that would have gone with that. And we have to not turn a blind eye. We have to recognize that, what, our friends and family need us. If we're truly friends and family with somebody that we recognize may have some red flags, that may have some things, it's incumbent on us to actually reach out and say, hey, you know what? I want to get you some help. I love you, and I want to get you some help.
See something, say something.
Exactly.
It's the same thing that if you had a neighbor and you thought that they were abusing their children in some way, and I'm talking sexual abuse, bruising. You see the signs. The kid is, we had a neighbor in Lubbock that this kind of happened to. All of a sudden, their kid started wetting the bed again at 10 years old. That's a sign.
Yes.
It's important to know the signs, what's changed, what's happening. And I only knew that because I watched them one day and I was like, this isn't right. Something's going on. And so it's a see something, say something, not a shh. It's not our business, Bob. We shouldn't get involved. No, you must get involved because it really does take a village. You have to speak up and you have to talk about it. And that means longtime people in a community, if something's changed in them,
yes.
And I don't want to, I'm not going to say anybody's name. I'm just going to say there is someone who's acting very peculiar and has been for the past year and a half, 2 years, that multiple people in the community have seen, that they're not speaking up publicly about it, which is a problem because then you only hear from one person and you want to look at that person and go, you're crazy. Even when you show evidence
Yes.
of someone following someone on a highway.
Exactly.
And then it's ignored. It's completely ignored. Like absolutely ignored. That's not normal behavior.
No, and that's not the only indicator. There were many others. And so, and I'm not going to mention names, but again, it's not meant to go after any person. It's meant to try and get somebody some help. And we have to love each other in our city, and we have, some of that love may be, hard, and it may have to go, hey, you know what? We got to get you some help. Something's not right. What's bothering you? What's troubling you? What's the struggles?
Well, what is, we've talked about this before. Nona and I have talked about this on air. When you look at the spirit of Jezebel, if you're familiar with the Bible, and if you are not, then I highly recommend you do some Googling on this so you can understand. But the spirit of Jezebel, which is a demon, how the spirit of Jezebel actually spreads, can spread through a household, a community, a church, right?
Yes.
You cannot rebuke something that you don't recognize. So if you're looking at it from the spiritual aspect, and from a faith aspect, that's one thing. If you don't recognize it, you cannot rebuke it. And so this goes along too with your own red flags. Am I acting like myself? Am I behaving like I normally would? Can you look at anybody who's listening? Are you capable of looking in the mirror and asking yourself those questions? Is this my normal behavior? Is this who I've been the past 40, 50 years? Or has something changed? What's going on? Is my focus changed? Where am I focusing all of my time and energy? Is it focused on negative things? Is it focused on attacking other people? Is it focused on looking to bring revenge within a community? Can you look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself that question? I know that I was able to look at myself in the mirror and ask myself, did I behave out of character a few times? And the answer was yes. It was out of character for me. In fact, I had one of my best friends call me up and go, that was really out of character for you to post on Facebook. What's going on with you? And I was like, you know what? And I listened to what she had to say. And I was like, you know what? You are totally right. That is out of character for me. And so I let anger get to me, and had some out of character behavior. And I took the part of the post that was out of character for me, I did take down. The rest I left, because I believe in speaking truth. So, are you capable of doing that for yourself, or giving yourself a mental health check in the mirror and checking in on your own behavior and looking? Sometimes, if you're not capable of looking at yourself in the mirror and you're a social media person and you post a lot of stuff on social media, I recommend that you go and look through all of your social media posts and ask yourself, is this right? Is this normal? Is this kind? Is this how stuff I was posting about 5 years ago? I mean, you can look back at your behavior and see. Now, I can't look back because that account was hacked and is, it's in Facebook limbo with my attorneys. But, yeah, So I can't look back 5 years ago. I can look back 2 years. So I just think that there's things like this. This is a post that someone of concern posted in April of 2021. When voters are fed lines of, excuse some of my French, but I'm reading someone else's words. When voters are fed lines of bullshit and subpar councilwoman rode in on the coattails of a new mayor, chaos and corruption became the master plan of the misfits. And two candidates who have no business even being a candidate, which I don't know how this person considers themselves an expert in deciding who should or should not be a candidate for something, who couldn't even acquire jobs as a teller at a bank, entered the picture because of their own failures of financial responsibilities. The misfits put all their weight behind their three candidates in an attempt to complete their game plan in quotes, and take control of city council. So this was, and then attached to this gentleman's post was a, I don't know, 5-page rant letter that was sent to all of city council, tearing down people in the community. And now this person's serving on a committee for our city. So that's just one. There's other things that he's posted. I'm just going to kind of, I'm kind of going through the laundry list folder that I have on stuff that he's posted. Another one is, well, as promised, my 7-page formal 7-page, I said 5, sorry. My 7-page, this was October, I'm sorry, this was an earlier letter that he sent, and this was October 13th of 2020. Well, as promised, my 7-page formal letter to our city council dates just a few days after I was banned for 1 month by Facebook for offending someone. This situation began last year, 2019, and the repercussions from the city representatives' actions has led to all the fallout drama when a self-appointed group of misfits, again, that word, this is someone on one of our committees who refers to community members as misfits, decided they would try to take down some current city council members, including our mayor, in an attempt to stack the deck, to force their politically driven agenda to overturn a censure handed down by our council against another current sitting council member. Again, has anyone overturned any censure?
It's never even been brought up.
Okay. A lot of drama has been happening ever since, and screenshots galore will shock the shit out of you so much that if you were wearing rubber pants, you would decorate any ceiling above which you were sitting and cover the ceiling area with tons of the same material these misfits spew on Facebook daily. Anyone who wants to know more is welcome to PM me. I plan to keep updating the madness as the game plan, again in quotes, is the misfits if the misfits unfolds. Again, the game plan thing. In case anyone is wondering, 2 more misfits recently floated to the surface, just like 2 undigested corn-filled turds in a toilet bowl. Again, this gentleman is on one of our committees. To give you a hint, the latest 2 are females. Just for fun, see if you can find all my grammatical errors. I explained at the end of my formal letter why and no. I did not blame it on my age or not having my glasses on. Shit happens, and so does small town drama for misfits. I'm sure you all know the type. Hope you enjoy. And then there's a 7-page letter that he sent to the city council tearing all of these people down. And all of this is being ignored by city council members and our own mayor, which I'm really sad to see. So there's another one where he calls people bottom feeders. And still, again, this is October 19th, 2020. It's another one. And still more drama from the bottom feeders during tonight's city council meeting. Same old bullshit from the same old misfits. Tears won't get you any sympathy points in local politics, for the way nature has proved how it works. Shit still floats no matter what bodily fluids you attempt to mix with it. Can't hide your game plans anymore. Again, game plans. Go ahead and flush out the remaining players in your crew. Come on, you fools. Don't disappoint us now. You keep failing to entertain the sane citizens here, yet you misfits continue to kiss the ass of one particular family where way more than $100,000 has already been wasted on a grown man's indiscretions with a young girl. Nice try, bozo. Go fish. Again, this person's on a committee. So I don't have a problem with people having their own opinion. I have my own opinion too. what I have a problem with is when you place people on committees that represent a city and there's no true vetting of these people. There's no true vetting. Where is the vetting process to say, okay, this person really does make sense and would be a good representation of our city, whether you're in an elected position or an appointed position, and these are appointed positions, and there's really no process to it. You fill out an application, you put it in a pile, and literally they just vote everybody in. They don't even know who these people are. Truly, you could say you've known someone for 30 years, but do you really know them?
Well, we have to remember too on some of these committees, like, P&Z, for example, that's developers. There's a lot of money tied up in that. That's people coming representing their financial interests before the city, and the people that they're representing to needs to be unbiased, and they need to have that unbiased attitude. Somebody that's posting things like what you're showing has an obvious obsession. They obviously had an obsession, I guess, with Stuart Gillespie before he left, and then and that obsession has continued on to other people. It gets transferred, if you will, from person to person, and it's unnatural, and it's disturbing. It makes you wonder real quick, if somebody's going to appear before this committee, and if they get denied, are they going to bring any of this out in a legal standing, saying, you know what, I must have been one of the misfits. That's the only reason I didn't get approved, is because I'm a misfit, because I support so-and-so, or because of this. I mean, these kind of things are stuff that from a legal standpoint should be alarming to each and every person. But from a personal safety standpoint, a person that's really fixated on somebody, I mean, you look at the different assassinations that have happened all the way throughout history. It's always been some kind of fixation. Even this most recent deal at Airman, they didn't just all of a sudden decide they were going to go shoot up a school or a homecoming. There was some kind of obsession, some kind of fixation that generated those red flags for people to see. And that's not to say that every red flag turns out to be something, but I do firmly believe, and I'm basing this on 28 years of law enforcement, that every something had red flags.
Right. Well, I've had someone message me in the past year through social media that said he was going to school me. So, what are you going to school me on? What does that mean? Are you going to assault me? Yes. I mean, what are you're threatening me? So what are you going to do? Is that stable behavior? That's not stable behavior. These are grown men.
Yeah.
These are grown women. There's women too who are doing stuff like that. In fact, this is a Facebook post from June 27th of 2021 from the daughter of a longtime sitting city councilman. She posted, "Please do not support this radio station," and it's a picture of JoCo Community Radio. "Tiffany Hurd is not the voice of anyone." Just to be fair, I've never said I was the voice of anyone. The radio station gives voice to a lot of people. She continues, "She is the one that makes fun of people, speaks ugly of burleson business owners, spreads lies during the city elections, calls people names if they have different religious viewpoints, and has made it clear she does not support the gay community in any way." So this is trying to tortiously interfere with my business, first of all.
Well,
but the funny part, this is the funny part.
Lies.
I would like to know, when have I ever made fun of someone? When have I ever spoken ugly on any platform about a business, specifically about a business owner? I'd love to know that too. I did not spread any lies during city elections. I have never called names of anybody who has a different religious viewpoint. Do I give access to the radio station to atheists? No, I don't. Not. Yeah. I'm sorry. I have a right to refuse business to anybody I want to. I'm a business owner and I'm a Christian. And although this is not a Christian radio station, I am a Christian, and therefore the foundations of my business are based on that. And that's very important to me. Believe what you want.
Yeah.
That is if you want to have a respectful conversation about it, I'll talk to you about it. Sure. And my favorite part is she's made it clear she does not support the gay community in any way. I don't know how many gay friends I could possibly list on my hands that one are come into the station on a regular basis,
or have had radio shows,
and are my best friends. So,
Exactly.
and my cousins. So anyway, none of that's true. Get to know people, surround yourself with wonderful people. Have an amazing day. God bless.
God bless.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, JoCo Community Radio.
Wilfred Brimley for Loafing Dog.
I'm Wilfred Brimley for Loafing Dog. You know, when I get the hankering for a hot dog, I go to Cleveland, Texas. Just a couple blocks off the square Loafing Dog. They got the Neely Dog, the Mary Sunshine Dog, the Casey Dog, and the Shirley Dog. Why, they even got Pacer Dog, the Brook